I remain Dr. Mohd Sani Abdu, Al-Kalerikiri Federal Consensus. I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I've been opportune to be a member of the Works Committee. I've also been opportune to be a member of the Madaki Committee, which investigated this. And I've also been opportune to be one of the two technical people that were sent along with Bulus Mareng to the second Niger Bridge on a joint inspection with a Senate subcommittee. And right now, we are writing a report between me and him to the Works Committee. So actually, this motion has become very preemptive in the sense that it predates, the submission of the two-man technical committee that we are supposed to submit to our chairman. Having said that, sir, the case of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road is a little bit better than the case of Second Niger Bridge, and we should separate them and discuss them separately. The issue of the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road is such that it was conceded before to Bicotny much earlier, and they woefully failed while the government was performing its part, appropriating money. The actual concessionaire has not been performing. And when the government decided to revoke the contract, they quickly went to court. And that is what affected that road. So when this particular government administration came in, the minister said this is, and the entire Nigeria knows that this is one of the most critical economic infrastructure, lifeline of the road, because it comes from the only biggest West African port up to Niger. They get things through this road. Up to Chad and Cameroon, they get all their goods and services a lot, let alone all other hinterland states of Nigeria. So actually what he has done is to bulldoze his way to find injecting capital and started doing the road as if it is direct contract, but the concessionaires are not still. So there is even a pending case which has been kept aside, and they are working, and we visited the road as a committee last year, and we saw it, and the quality of the work is fantastic, and he stood of it. However, the second Niger Bridge did not attract such political will. Sir, it is even more complex. During the last administration, in 2013 to 2014, a concocted concession was done between the federal government and Julius Berger International Investment Company, which has no office in Nigeria but in Germany. And it's an investment company. And there was an MOU between it and the federal government to do the second Niger Bridge. And then Julius Berger International Investment Company decided to give the contract to Julius Berger Nigeria Limited, which is a Nigerian company, like a subsidiary. That is what is happening. However, the federal government has no contract agreement with Julius Berger Nigeria Limited. So they have not brought a single kobo from abroad. But the government, in the same spirit like the second, the Lagos-Ibadan road, they, in the 2016.
Honorable Madaki, you have just pointed out to us that you headed a committee, another committee, on this important motion. And we have not decided on the motion, and you are working out. Okay, please take your seat.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, in the 2016, we put 14 billion as in the appropriation, but because the federal government, the new regime, the new administration has no direct contract with Julius Berger Nigeria Limited, that 14 billion elapsed. And again, in 2017, 10 billion was also put again, which up till now has not been utilized because there is no contract. And yet, there was no particular form of concession directly, except for the MOU between the federal government and Julius Berger International. Finally, sir,
Dr. MS, let me ask you a question. No, you are not telling us what you know again. Let's the others. So finally, let's know. Since you have all these facts, I'm not shutting you out, Dr. MS. Don't make drama out of this thing.
Order.
Since you have all these facts.
MS Abdu, be guided, please. MS Abdu, be guided, please.
Since you have all these facts, and some of these facts were presented at the ad hoc committee, I wouldn't know because it was properly set up by the House. And since also you are a member of the Committee on Works, and since also you have by the side worked as a member of a subcommittee jointly with the Senate, with all these facts, I want to ask you, to which of the committee will you want these facts to be presented to as addendum? Is it the ad hoc committee that has just investigated and presented their report, or the new one, so that at the end of the day, because whether we like it or not, we are going to consider the report of the ad hoc committee, and we are equally going to consider whatever investigation that is carried out by the committee. So which of the committee will you, in your own opinion?
The ad hoc committee that presented its report is not the main committee. It investigated a vituperation by the minister who accused the House of having stark information about budgeting. So it's not actually addressing this complex contractual issue. So the actual committee is Committee of Works that is supposed to take. And I've even sent an amendment. It is now right now before you as a way forward, sir. I am trying to inform the House to understand. Some of us have the opportunity to understand the complexity, but majority of people who are debating are even trying to generalize, but it's much more complex. This is a critical infrastructure beyond any other one. And there is all this complexity. That's what I was trying to explain. If you look at his paragraph 5, he said, concerned that the manner of the execution of the project is not in accordance with defined methods of execution, projects, and or contracting procedure, which is true. So what we need to do is not even to go to the prayer that money should be included, but is to define a particular form of contract that we want to go. If it is concession, let us concede. If it is direct contract, let us form it within 3 months and then continue. But we cannot allow this road to lie fallow. We must attack it. And the Committee of Works has voluminous information about it, and I think it should go back there. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
To do a quick passage of the budget in December, and if you are given a 3 months notice, that means it's not working for 2018. That's why I'm asking. So be guided. So 3 months from where and for which budget? 2018 or 2019?
Bill of quantities. There must be design. There must be agreement. There is this thing before you know exactly what you are going to spend. That's why I said earlier that this motion is a bit preemptive. If you put money and you don't know the scope of the project, you don't know the details.
You have moved your amendment for the benefit of honorable colleagues. Is asking, please take your seat. You have moved your amendment. I will read to honorable colleagues. But we no longer call it bill of quantities, it's bill of engineering measurement.